All right, so I'm gonna stop it here because my battery is super low, and I guess this is a good place to kind of end chapter 1. So chapter 1, part 7, addicted to monsters. The first one being my father. I need to come up with some names here so I don't slip. So we're gonna call my mom Mimi. We're gonna call my father Fox. Mimi for mom, F, Fox for father. I know it's so original. All right, so here we go. There was a saying in my family that I started hearing from a kid, that Mimi loves Fox and Fox loves Fox. And it was a joke. It was kind of a joke, but it's really not funny. It's not funny. I used to love to, and I still do. I just, that love kind of came back over the years, but I used to love to journal. And I journaled and I wrote a lot. And it was very helpful for me because I felt like that was my one safe space that I could open up and be heard, and I could just talk to my journal. And that's what I did a lot. I had a foster sister that all of a sudden now I'm having to share a room with this girl, and she just seemed to be really problematic and enjoy just creating just mess for people. She did something to me that was so, at that age, it just kind of blew my mind that she could be that just demonic. Some of the things that she would do. The interesting thing is, looking back, a lot of her traits were kind of very similar to my dad's, which is probably why they had this really weird kind of like love-hate relationship. It's like they kind of fed off of each other's disgusting dysfunction, seriously, watching them too. But anyway, still don't know all the reasons why. She first, my grandmother was her foster mother, and then my aunt, I think she stayed with my aunt, and then she wound up coming to live with us. My parents became her foster mom. Enough about that. The point is, I was writing in a journal, and by this time I do know that I was old enough and I was smart enough to pick up on the fact that I did not like, as a matter of fact, I hated, and I wrote this in my journal, that I hated the way my father was treating my mother. I hated the way he talked to her. I hated the way he talked about her. I hated his body language, everything. And I would be really angry with her. I would be so mad at her. I still am. Not as much, but I still do feel like, why did you let him do this to you? Why did you allow this to be normal for me and for all of us? Because it set up the stage for me to take and accept a lot of crap from men later on. Because I watched him, and it seemed like there was some virtue in just standing in front of the church and in front of people and saying, we've been together for a long time and it ain't been no walk in the park, and the Lord brought us through so much stuff, but we still here. Yeah, I hate that. I'm trying not to cuss. I hate it. I hate that mess. I hate it. So anyway, I knew that by that time there was something that I hated about my father. I don't hate him, and at that time as a child I thought I did. I hated some of his demonic ways. And I don't know, because I don't know his mind. I don't know if maybe he just had a hard time fighting these demons and he just couldn't win. I'm of the mindset that if you want to, you can. If you want to, you can. Either you want your ego or you want what's right. I'm going to leave that there. But I wrote in my journal, and I don't even know why I don't know why Rabbit felt the need to even be in my stuff. But I really felt like she tried to create calamity for me in several different ways. Maybe she was jealous. I don't know. I mean, she was kind of the outsider in the home, but I loved the idea of having a sister, and I loved her. But she was problematic for me a couple times in life, and that was the first time. So I don't remember what the incident was, but there must have been some incident, and I wrote in my journal how much I hated my father. And I said whatever else I said, but I do remember the feeling of hating him, and I know exactly why I felt like I did from a very early age, because I hated the way he treated my mother, and I also hated the way he treated me. And I felt like for me and my mother, it was especially worse. Her, the absolute worst, and then me getting the runoff. So for whatever reason, she made Rabbit, the foster sister, she made a choice to rip that out of my diary and to give it to him. I don't know when she did. All I know is he came storming into, I don't know if I was in the living room, bedroom, what, but he came storming in with the, with the pages in his hand, and he was like, "So you hate me, huh?" And she was behind him or around or something, and she just kind of had this look of satisfaction on her face. And the joke wound up being on her too, though, because she was the one that gave him the paper. And he said, some harsh things, whatever it was that he said. But I remember him saying, "You and her can pack your bags and you can get out of my house since you hate me." And I'm looking at him like, "Are you for real?" Yeah, he was for real. He didn't stop us. So here I am, elementary school, packing my gym bag, my Mighty Ducks, I think it was an NFL bag, or I just remember it was a Mighty Ducks gym bag, and I loved the bag because it had a little vent on the side, and back then that was a big deal. It was like some official, sports bag with a little vent on it. And this is back in the day when you actually needed a gym bag in school because you would take showers in school and everything. I'm packing this bag. I'm putting the things that are most valuable in it. I don't know, Barbie doll, whatever, some clothes. And I don't recall if she packed the bag or not, but he told me to pack my bag and get out. And a part of it was kind of ego, like, "I'm gonna show you, you ain't gonna kick me out, you gonna tell me to get out, I'm getting out." But then another part was, there's a dissonance inside of me again, because the other part was, "Are you for real? You read my diary," which neither one of you guys had a right to do. But if you're going to do that and you get a chance to peer into my heart and mind, you're not asking me, "Why do I feel this way? I'm sorry, let's talk about this." What you're saying is, "I'm going to reject you." And I can never forget that feeling of total rejection. I felt emotionally and physically abandoned, and I felt like if I'm not safe here with my own father, I'm not safe anywhere. I just don't care anymore. And I packed my bag, my little Mighty Ducks gym bag, and I went taking off walking with her. We both left, going down Applegate Avenue or Drive, whatever, and going down that street and around the corner again, same path I took when that glass went through my foot, and headed up to whatever that shopping center was, kind of at the end. I just know there was a light, and then you go across that light to whatever that little shopping center was at Plaza, and there was a pizza joint, I believe, that we went into. And then here comes my mother in that ugly blue van, coming up there and fussing. This was always the stance that she took after my father would do something just egregious. It's like she would make it our fault somehow. Is how it is, the way that it felt with her communication. "You didn't have to do all that. Don't pay him no mind. You know better than to pay him any mind. Just get in the car and let's go home." And I remember saying, "I'm not getting in the car with you. I don't want to go." And I actually wound up having a few of these other moments later on too, where my dad was telling me, "Get back in the car." And I'm like, "For what? I'm not getting back in the car with you." This is later on, and we'll get there. It's interesting how certain patterns repeat. But I just remember thinking, I don't know where I'm going, but anywhere is better than going back with you guys. Like, it's hell up in that house, and y'all just ain't got your stuff together, and you let him do this to me. I did not want to get back in the van. I didn't know where I was going, but I was going somewhere else fast. So there was some back and forth. I got in the car. I got in the van, and we went home. And that was that. He never got corrected. He never apologized. I learned, it was further reinforced that day, that he is God, and God ain't good. All right, I need to get some rest.